Today, we will analyze the country of Belgium. Why does a country called Belgium exist? Is the place we know today as Belgium truly a country or just a diplomatic illusion? Let's dive deep into this question. First, let's get to know the two main peoples living in Belgium, the Flemish and the Walloons. The Flemish live in the northern region of Flanders. They are of Germanic origin and speak the same language as the Dutch. However, despite sharing a language, they do not identify as Dutch. The main difference separating the two peoples is their historical and religious background. While the Dutch follow the Protestant tradition, the Flemish remain Catholic due to strong Spanish influence throughout history. The Walloons live in the southern region of Wallonia. They are of Latin Celtic origin and their native language is French. For this reason, they are culturally closer to France. In addition to these two major groups, Belgium also officially recognizes a German-speaking community. German, alongside Dutch and French, is one of the country's official languages. According to latest data from the Official Statistics Office, Belgium's population is just over 11.7 million. Approximately 6.8 million people, around 58%, live in the Flemish region. Around 3.7 million people, about 31%, live in Wallonia. The remaining 1,250,000 people reside in the Brussels capital region. Today, Belgium appears almost divided in two. Under its federal system, there is the Flemish region in the north, the Walloon region in the south, and the Brussels capital region as a separate entity. Flemish and Walloons largely live in their respective regions, although some migration exists between them. Brussels, however, is perhaps one of the most cosmopolitan cities in the world. Alongside Flemish and Walloons, many immigrant communities live there. In fact, more than 30% of Belgium's population consists of immigrants. The German-speaking community lives in eastern Wallonia, near the German border. Even Belgium's topography seems to reflect this division. Flanders is generally lower and flatter, while elevation begins as you move toward Wallonia. Culturally, Flemish and Walloon societies display contrasting characteristics, both socially and in business life. Flemish companies tend to have a more horizontal hierarchy, and decision-making processes emphasize transparency, and employees at all levels are consulted. Walloon companies, by contrast, often have a more centralized and hierarchical structure. Decisions are typically made behind closed doors by upper management, and lower levels are expected to implement them without question. In Walloon culture, symbols of power and status matter greatly, from office size to furniture and even business card designs. In personality terms, the Flemish are often described as more reserved and rational, while Walloons are seen as more outgoing and warm. However, when it comes to criticism, roles reverse. Flemish professionals generally accept criticism calmly, view it as a tool for improvement. Walloons, on the other hand, may perceive even constructive criticism as a personal attack on their reputation. One of the biggest questions about Belgium is this: how do these two communities, speaking different languages, communicate in daily life? The answer lies largely in the education system. Flemish education strongly emphasized several languages. As a result, many young Flemish graduates speak Dutch, French, and English fluently. This gives them an advantage both domestically and internationally. In Wallonia, however, there has traditionally been less interest for learning Dutch, even though they share the same country. While younger generations increasingly speak basic English, the traditional reluctance to learn Dutch has even become a subject of humor among the Flemish. Brussels is a true cultural mosaic. Officially bilingual, it's far more colorful in practice. Walking through its streets, you may hear not only Dutch, French, or German, but also Turkish, Arabic, Italian, and many other languages. Still, French tends to dominate daily life in the city. But how this small region divided culturally and linguistically, with the north sharing language and ancestry with its northern neighbors and the south with its southern neighbors come to exist as one country. Before being conquered by the Roman Empire, these lands were inhabited by the Belgic tribes. After Julius Caesar conquered the area, it became known as the province of Gallia Belgica, the origin of the name Belgium. Following the fall of Rome, various kingdoms and feudal entities ruled the region. In 1384, under the Duke of Burgundy, much of what we now call the Low Countries, including today's Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg, were unified under one administration for the first time. This political unity turned the region into one of Europe's wealthiest and most urbanized areas, serving as a buffer between the Holy Roman Empire and the Kingdom of France. In 1477, when the Duke Charles of Burgundy died without a male heir, his daughter Mary of Burgundy married Maximilian I of the Habsburg dynasty. Control of the region passed to the Habsburgs, one of Europe's most powerful and long-lasting dynasties. Their famous motto was essentially, "Let others wage war, you, happy Austria, marry." Their grandson, Charles V, became both Holy Roman Emperor and King of Spain in the early 1500s. The Low Countries came under Spanish rule, not as part of Spain itself, but through a personal union. This allowed the region to preserve its own laws, traditions, and identity. During the 16th century, Protestant religion spread rapidly across Europe. In the northern provinces of the Low Countries, Protestant religion gained strength. After years of conflict, the 80 Years' War, the northern provinces broke away and formed what is today the Netherlands. The southern provinces, roughly corresponding to modern Belgium, remain under Catholic control. This religious divide became one of the key turning points shaping today's differences. In 1815, after Napoleon's defeat at the Battle of Waterloo, the Congress of Vienna redrew Europe's map. Belgian territory was merged with the Kingdom of the Netherlands to create a strong buffer state against France. However, tensions quickly grew under King William I. Southern elites felt marginalized due to language impositions, religious tensions, unequal political representation, and censorship. In 1830, an opera performance in Brussels, depicting a rebellion against Spanish rule, sparked unrest that escalated into the Belgian Revolution. Despite military intervention, Dutch forces eventually withdrew. At the 1830 London Conference, the great powers of Austria, Britain, France and Prussia, and Russia recognized Belgium's independence under the condition of permanent neutrality. However, Independence did not eliminate internal divisions, dominated the new state, even though the majority of the population spoke Dutch. Over time, economic power shifted. Wallonia prospered during the Industrial Revolution due to coal and steel. Later, as mines declined, Flanders, especially through the port of Antwerp, became Belgium's economic engine. In 1962, language borders were officially drawn. From 1970 to 1988, reforms gradually decentralized power. Finally, in 1993, Belgium formally became a federal state, divided into three regions: Flanders, Wallonia, and Brussels. Each region has its own parliament, government, and budget. Education, culture, and even parts of foreign trade are largely regional responsibilities. The historical and cultural fault lines became official legal boundaries. Yet, political tensions persist. Belgium once went 541 days without a federal government, a world record. But life continued because regional governments handle most day-to-day matters. Meanwhile, Brussels stands at the center of this divided country and also as the capital of the European Union and NATO. In one sense, it perfectly embodies Europe's motto of unity in diversity. In another, Belgium's complex bureaucracy mirrors the often criticized slow decision-making of the EU itself. Ultimately, the idea of Belgium is quite new in the context of Europe's long history. It is the result of historical accidents, strategic marriages, wars, and power struggles. Had a few key marriages ended differently, or few battles had another outcome, there might be or not be a country called Belgium today. Thank you for watching.